Does the current treatment of England's black players reflect their racist colonial legacy? With 8 players from migrant backgrounds, England has one of the most diverse teams at the World Cup, and many of these players have Jamaican backgrounds, with the likes of Raheem Sterling, Ashley Young, Kyle Walker and Danny Rose. But the criticisms they face in the British media reflect a wider discussion on their Britishness. Jamaica, which had been an English colony since 1655, suffered greatly under colonial occupation and subjugation, and was one of the major slave markets. It acted as an engine room to the incredible wealth and power of the empire, built almost entirely on slavery. After World War II, England invited people from the Caribbean, including from Jamaica, to help rebuild the country, and they were given jobs in the public sector. Between 1948 and 1971, nearly 500,000 people arrived in the UK. They came to be known as the Windrush generation, named after one of the ships that brought them to England. At the time, people living in the former or current British colonies were considered British citizens, and in 1971 the Immigration Office gave these migrants the right to stay in the UK. However, the government at the time did not issue any paperwork or keep a record of those who stayed. So, in 2012, a change in government policy enacted by the then Home Office Secretary Theresa May demanded that the Windrush generation present evidence of citizenship when applying for jobs or when seeking medical services. Evidence that was never issued to them. This left many of them, their children and their grandchildren facing discrimination and even deportation. Such a policy calls into question what makes someone British, because when the UK no longer needed their help, they could be easily discarded, regardless of their citizenship status or history. The same treatment is being afforded to English players like Raheem Sterling.
There have been endless stories about his blinged up car and his flash house, which are loaded phrases in themselves, and I personally think are disgraceful.
Where historically racist imagery such as money, tattoos, laziness, arrogance and stupidity are used to criticize him. This escalated recently after Sterling revealed a tattoo of a gun on his shin. Although he explained the symbolic connection to his gunned-down father, it did not stop calls for him to be dropped. This, of course, largely in contrast to the treatment of many white English players past and present. For example, John Terry was accused of racism on the field, but still captained the English team in the Euros. This hypocritical media coverage reflects something bigger. The implication is that Sterling and any such player are not English enough. A sentiment that brings us back to the Windrush generation, where people were literally asked to prove their Britishness. So, is England just keeping with a colonial legacy in Jamaica, where it used black bodies for whatever benefit it can, then discarded them?